I'm a neophyte to this system. In fact, I was introduced to it less than 3 months ago. And I'll tell you my impression from someone who's just getting into the game. We at Stanford have had a long history of strong interest in navigation and imaging. In fact, we started a decade ago a division of surgical navigation in neurosurgery, and have involved, I think we've used every single navigation system that's ever been on the market at Stanford one time or another, and we've invented some. So let me see here. This is a throwback to what we used to do, and we moved from the era of using angiography in really two planes to this, and this was about a decade ago, and this was our primitive CTA, which by today's standards seems unimaginable that we could be working with this. And then we probably 6 or 7 years ago worked with our imaging group, and for a wide-based aneurysm like this, we're able to generate a CTA like this, and in fact could then have our 3D lab work out a video so we could try to appreciate the relationship of the aneurysm and the vessels coming out of the aneurysm to the skull base. But this was extremely labor intensive on someone else's part, and it wasn't something we could do ourselves. So we had to depend on someone to put together a movie and ship it over to us, and we never had it at the time when we needed it before we went to the OR. And so we worked with someone in our department who we recruited, Ramin Shahidi, and he actually took a leave of absence to start a company, and this was a navigation company, and you can see very nice imaging, and you can dissolve away the bone. This is actually a patient with two aneurysms, an ACOM aneurysm and a basilar aneurysm. And we could turn the skull however we wanted, except we couldn't do it ourselves, so it was not interactive. It's beautiful imaging, and we thought this was the right idea. And this is volumetric rendering, not surface. But there was no, as I say, one-to-one interactive feedback, and it would take us a week or more for us to be able to generate these images. And likewise, for tumors, we thought we were clever in being able to show a tumor like this. So I got introduced to Joe and the Dextroscope, I think about 3 months ago, and we brought in a system to try. And I tried it, and I had all of our residents try it, all of our fellows try it, and all of our interventional neuroradiologists and some of our other faculty try it. And everyone was enthralled with the possibility of being able to use this for not just surgical planning, for a teaching tool. And we see possibilities, actually, since we're so interested in navigation, of using it in terms of research and pushing the frontiers of virtual reality. So we are having our system installed. You don't have that other aneurysm loaded up, do you? Well, I started playing around today, actually, at the booth, looking at what we could possibly do. And I'll show you here, we just ran through this is a large left-sided carotid artery aneurysm. It's a proximal supraclinoid internal carotid artery aneurysm. And maybe put this into a left pterional view. And what's nice about this is we could really manipulate it and see whether this aneurysm is clippable even. And I see a lot of aneurysms like this, large aneurysms with wide necks that have perforators or large branches coming out. So here's the way we would approach this. And just doing a small pterional opening. Is this the CTA image or the MRA? Because I want to show also the comparison between the CTA and the MRA. So the supraclinoid internal carotid artery, can you point that out? Because I can't point here with a laser pointer. It goes right through the screen, right? Right, so there's the supraclinoid internal carotid artery, and show the distal, the carotid bifurcation you can see. Right, and here's the MCA coming out at us and the ACA curving around the aneurysm on the left side. And then we look for the posterior communicating artery, and you can see that emerging from the back of this aneurysm and going to, actually if you segment it so we can see the basilar artery. So the issue is whether this could be reconstructed and clipped, preserving the posterior communicating artery and the choroidal artery. So, Ralph, yeah, show us the tilted back so we can see the, yeah, there's the posterior communicating artery coming out and joining up with the basilar. So probably this could be reconstructed if the situation were right. Obliterating the aneurysm and reconstructing the posterior ventral wall of the aneurysm and preserving flow into the posterior communicating artery and the choroidal. That's good. That gives them a good idea. So you can turn on the lights. So we are very enthusiastic about getting our system, which is going to be installed next week, and starting to really interact with it, both as a teaching tool and as a surgical planning tool.
Thank you, Dr.
Steinberg.